Factorization example. Find the factor of the quadratic equation 2x squared minus 3x plus 1 is equal to 0. So as we can see, our quadratic equation is given as 2x squared minus 3x plus 1 is equal to 0. What I'm going to write my general equation at the top of this equation. So I will write ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to compare these two equations, and if I compare, you can see the value of a is basically 2, the value of b is basically -3, and the value of c is basically 1. So I can write a is equal to 2, b is equal to -3, and c is equal to 1. And if I multiply a times c, I will get 2 times 1, which is basically 2. So what I need to do, I need to find the factors of 2, and when we multiply those factors, I need to get the sum of those factors as 3. So the factors of 2 can be 2 times 1, and 2 times 1 is basically 2, and if I add 2 plus 1, that is basically 3. So I can see my factors are -3. So basically I can get -3 as -2 plus -1, and if I multiply -2 times -1, I will get 2. So basically my factors -2 and -1 works pretty good with this equation. So let's use these two factors. So I can write my actual equation as 2x squared minus 2x minus x plus 1 is equal to 0. I'm going to take these two terms together and these two terms together. So if you look first two terms, you can see 2x is common for the first two terms. So I'm going to take 2x common, and inside the bracket I have x minus 1, because if I take 2x common, I will left with x over here, which is over here, and this 2x is outside, so I have only number left is -1. And over here I have -1 common, and inside the bracket I have x minus 1, which is basically equal to 0. Now you can see that this x minus 1 is common for both the two terms, so I will take x minus 1 common outside, and if I take x minus 1 common, I have 2x, so 2x over here, and then -1 is common right here because this term is gone, so -1 times positive is -1, so I will write -1 is equal to 0. So as you can see, my factors for this quadratic equation is basically x minus 1 times 2x minus 1 is equal to 0. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take one factor at a time. So I'm going to do a partitioning over here. So I will write x minus 1 is equal to 0. I need to get rid of this one, so I will add 1 on both sides. And if I do that, this 1 will be cancelled out, and I have x left over here is equal to 0 plus 1 is 1. So this is my first factor. Now my second factor is basically 2x minus 1 is equal to 0. I need to get rid of this one, so I'm going to take this one to the other side, and only way I can do if I add 1 on both sides. So if I add 1 on both sides, I will cancel this one out, and only number that I have on my left side is 2x, because 1 is gone, and that is equal to 0 plus 1 is 1. I need to find the value of x, so I need to divide both sides with 2. So this 2 is cancelled out, and I have only x is equal to 1 over 2. and this is my second factor for this equation right here. So my answers are, my first factor is x is equal to 1 and my second factor is x is equal to 1 over 2. And this is how we will solve any quadratic equation using factorization.